right, we want to take you straight to Philadelphia, where ahead of Pennsylvania's primary, Senator Ted Cruz, who is trailing here in the New York primary, is actually jumping ahead and speaking to supporters there. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Ronald Reagan and Jack Kennedy were outsiders. They both represented a whole new vision and vibrancy, a new generation of ideas. Jack Kennedy looked forward instead of back to the first half century of World War. He knew that America could dream and build if we were set free. Not tanks for war, but rockets for exploration. Reagan looked out to us, the most powerful force for innovation that the world has ever known. There we found new tech pioneers like Bill Gates and a young Steve Jobs. They had vision and the freedom to build a new world that at the time only they saw because they were free. They challenged the way and changed the way that all of us live, work, and interact. Now it's our turn. This generation must first look inward to see who we really are after years of being beaten down. Years of being told we couldn't, shouldn't, or wouldn't. This generation needs to answer a new set of questions. Can we? Should we? Will we? Are we still those people? Those dreamers and doers? Are America's greatest generations in our past, or are our best days yet ahead? We must unite the Republican Party, because doing so is the first step towards uniting all Americans. The question is not whether all Americans can or will agree on a majority of issues all of the time. The question is whether a majority of Americans are hungry to rally around a set of principles larger than any single issue that a politician may use to divide us. Tonight, I'm speaking to you from Philadelphia. It's natural, when we talk about our nation's earliest days, that we focus our attention on the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And we can learn a great deal about a path forward by focusing on the passionate disputes and disagreements among our founding fathers. Differences that were put aside only because of the weight and consequences of the foundational principles they sought to proclaim and the price to be paid if they failed to rise to the task. Today, as Republicans, we agree on a lot, and sure, areas of lesser agreement exist as well. But on the fundamental question, are we satisfied with the current direction of our country? We speak with one voice. I call on you, as JFK did in the 60s, and as Reagan did in the 80s, to chart a new American journey forward, one that isn't led by me or anyone in Washington, but by you and millions others just like you. One where we still have differences, yet we choose to concentrate on what we have in common. One that lifts others up and believes in the rights, responsibilities, goodness, and the strength of all mankind. We have so much that binds us together: our families, our work ethic, our ability to dream and build unlike any people in history. But most of all, our charity, our love for our fellow men and women, and our willingness to sacrifice for those in need. Let us unite on the things that have always made us great. We are great because we are good. Because over and over again we have chosen courage in the moment of crisis, freedom in the face of compromise, and hope in the face of challenges that everyone told us could not be overcome. Our sitting president ran on a slogan that should have been a great first step. It promised us, yes, we can. Now is the time to take that slogan and put it into action. Yes, We Can was a recognition of the hope that we can and should recover. The problem was that Barack Obama's prescriptions only led to more elitist control from Washington and less freedom for the people. But now is the time as Americans once again to reclaim that hope, to take another giant leap for mankind, to speak the words with all the power and might that we can muster, and use the words that have changed the world time and again. The words that the slaves yearned to hear from the American people and Abraham Lincoln when they cried out for freedom. The words that Europe and Britain heard when they cried out for help defeating totalitarian evil in the 1940s. The words that led two men in North Carolina to be the first in flight, and a half-century later, the first man to reach the moon.